I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Martin Luther King was a man who inspired all of us to be better. And what I am enthused most about is that I have dreams too, just like everyone in the state of Alaska. And my particular dream that's inspired by Martin Luther King is about children and how we need to protect the well-being of all children in Alaska. So my dream is a world free of child abuse and child maltreatment, and Alaska can do that with everyone's help.
Nation observed Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and the Alaska Legislature, of course, was not in session. And since we're beginning today, it's an appropriate time to think about his legacy. But King used the power of words, as when he said, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." In 1968, after 13 years of nonviolent leadership, Dr. Martin Luther King's life was cut short when he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. His death was followed by riots in many U.S. cities, especially Washington, D.C. As a young Army officer, I was one of hundreds of soldiers sent to the nation's capital to declare martial law. Martial law. Pretty big thing in this country. We hope we don't see that, but it was a sight I will never forget. We had armed troops on every corner in downtown Washington, D.C. We had military vehicles patrolling the capital's streets. Certainly not a response that Dr. King would have wanted to see. Later, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Congressional Gold Medal posthumously. And Martin Luther King Jr. Day was established as a U.S. federal holiday in 1986. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for asking me to speak briefly on yesterday's important national holiday. It would take much longer to really understand the history of the civil rights movement. Maybe we can do that next week if we can find a couple of hours. Thank you, Mr. President.